Hello and welcome back to Planet Coaster Horror Mode. And we are here in our challenge park working on our uh, insanity ride skin here. And this one took me a long time to complete, and you can see now I'm working on some doors, throwing some doors in here, because originally I thought that I could set up some triggers at the start of the ride, but for this ride it has to get into its full cycle before the triggers actually kick in. So this doesn't end up working, but let's jump back to even before we started doing this portion. And let's talk about my idea prior to this, because this was not game plan number one. This was the backup plan that I came up with. The first idea that I had was, oh man, I really wish this would have worked with the doors. It looks really nice. But anyway, I'm glad we actually, you can see me working on the triggers now. And yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. But yeah, so the first idea that I had was to build like a stopwatch and have the pieces that are spinning be the arms of the stopwatch, and call it Time Twister. And yeah, that was a little bit more challenging than I thought. I did that a little bit, and then, it actually wasn't looking too bad, but there was something that didn't line up perfectly the way I was trying to do it, and I ended up just choosing to not do it, because it was all with basic shapes, so it didn't really have much of a realistic look to it, and that was starting to get to me. Plus, you don't really see a ton of them like this, so I knew it was going to... The design that we end up is not anything that you see, really, in real life, but it's much more believable than what the other one was. So, at this point, we went to this more Western style with a lot of wood, and we don't use any of the roofing that's in there now. That gets removed, but we hide everything. We completely encapsulate that entire center beam, with the exception of the ladder, and that's just to kind of leave a little bit of the realism that, yeah, someone's going to have to climb up to this, so we should leave that there. And, I think it turns out pretty nice. We use a lot of pieces in it by just duplicating a bunch of wooden beams and whatnot, but I think it turns out pretty nice. I can't complain about it. I'm pretty happy with it, but all in all, it takes a really long time to come together. So, I mean, the part we're getting to now was one of the challenges that I thought I was going to have, and I was able to solve it fairly quickly. And the bottom platform, not a challenge at all. It doesn't move at all. But as I'm building it, I noticed the platform that's above that you can't quite see in this picture it moves. So I was trying to figure out how was I going to make it so that it completely hid that, and using some windows as walls, which is a great way to try and save some piece count, but also kind of give a little bit different style of wall. We just kind of layered everything a little bit, so we just kind of bump it up there and make sure that we get it at the top, we get a part at the bottom, and just kind of cover it in, and try and keep the same general theming all the way around. And it works pretty well. Like, you wouldn't even recognize it if you weren't looking at the ride attraction move on its own now. So Yeah, and I spend a lot of time because it takes me a bit to get everything lined up, and there was a lot of clipping. So at this point, let's go ahead and pull up our rules for this. And if you're new to the series, kind of what I'm doing is I played a harder challenge mode recently, and I have another series on my older computer, and that computer has died, and I ended up losing that, so we started a new one, and here we are. But it came too easy because I was charging the maximum amount that we could charge that guests would pay, and we were just making boatloads of money. So I started in the later season 2 of that series, to challenge myself uh, with like making like little rules, and I didn't specify them the way I did in this series, but you can see the rules on the right. We certainly have some, and they haven't been super challenging so far. You can see we've clearly made some money, but that's because we had to grind it out and wait for a lot of things to become classic. So one of the rules is if I have to rename or recolor a ride, I must rebrand it. Once an attraction becomes classic, I can't rebrand it. So I didn't realize this when I made that rule in the last episode, but we can't do that one. So we need to come up with another solution. My solution to that is if we have an attraction reach classic, we can only charge 25% or 75% of the maximum that we can charge. So the gentle rides, the smaller rides where the maximum is $10, we can only charge $7.50. So we go ahead and adjust that, and that should make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know how much. Maybe we'll need to readjust that again in the future, but that'll really, I'm thinking that's going to really want me to not let attractions get to classic status. So because we won't make money. We're not charging enough. There are going to be some where we're going to make money, like the Insanity. We're still making money, but that's fine. But yeah, so we got that rule updated. If you're interested in taking a look, you have all the other rules on the other side there. So that's the only one we're going to change for now. And yeah, if you think that rule's a little off, or I need to do something a little different, please let me know in the comments, because I am certainly open to making it different. I'm trying to find different ways that I'm going to challenge myself, and the longer that I play and the more that things become classic, the easier it's going to get. But we do have a big thing coming up where we're going to have to get some food stalls in, and I haven't been too successful with that yet, so certainly I have to keep an eye on that. But anyway, yeah, so we've done quite a bit now. We started getting a frame up in front of the attraction. We also started getting some crazy brick wall things, whatever you want to call those, around the bottom, and that's just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. I didn't want there's a lot of wood in this, a lot, all the way around it. So having these different things, so we got some chimneys as pillars, which turn out really nice. And yeah, the idea we're going for is it's going to be like that, almost like a barn type building when you think about it. And we are kind of making it, we're going to make a windmill later, and the ride is going to be called Crankshaft, which you probably saw from the thumbnail or the name of the video, either or. And for us to get that all set, I couldn't figure out how I want to do it. I was really nervous. I don't want people to be walking through any of the wooden support beams. So similarly, actually not similarly, that second, the frame towards the inside there doesn't have anything that goes down to the ground. So I was worried that that might look a little odd, but it actually turns out looking fairly believable. Like, I think a park would actually build something like that. So, and again, this is me just trying to figure out, like, my original plan didn't work, and how are we gonna fix it? So, yeah, and the other piece of this, I couldn't get walls to fit because of the dimensions that everything was. So we ended up building our own walls out of wooden structures, and I didn't want any clipping or minimal clipping where you wouldn't notice it. And I also wanted to make sure that there were a little bit of differences in terms of colors, just to break up that wood look, because like I said, there's a ton of it in here. And from here it's just about creating what I have and then duplicating it, flipping it around and keep having the other side, and then flipping it again to duplicate it on the other side, because pretty much it's very similar in a lot of different ways. And it takes a long time to come together. By the way, this is an extremely long time lapse, so I'm very sorry if you don't like the time lapse portion of these videos. I can promise you we do have a management feature, but it is a little bit shorter. Well, maybe it's not a little bit shorter, it's probably about the same length. But this time lapse is about an hour long, so sorry if you don't like that, but I wanted to get a completed product here, and it certainly took some time to do that. I was also very concerned about different sight lines, but you see me, I just backed out to go to the front of the park to take a look at it, and it doesn't change too much. So at this point, bringing in some supporting beams for that middle structure or structure piece, I don't know what you would call it, and it works. You got the cross beams, just adding a little bit of extra detail for the entire thing, and it just takes time. I put a lot of pieces down one by one here, and these walls took forever for me to go through it and get them to look right, with not having any clipping and whatnot. And you kind of see the shape at this point, but it doesn't really start to come together yet. It's still a lot of brown. We do get a little bit of color in at some point, but it takes a long time for that to come to fruition. So and my goal at this point is really just to find something that I can get and I can duplicate, because I do not want to do this again. I mean, we're already getting close to 15 minutes in, and you can see I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to do the windmill portion of this. And for a while I was like, let's just throw the windmill thing on top and let it be, and that wasn't the solution that I wanted. And also, how can I break it up so it doesn't look so boring? And I go to look at these, what are these, some metal roofing, and they weren't the right thing either. It just kind of made it look too boring. I wanted something a little bit more fun, and it's at this point where I realize, this red kind of makes it stand out a little bit better. So we start to add these in, and we keep that same rhythm where we just we break everything up a little bit and kind of give it a little bit more depth. We change the colors, and all right, so now it's starting to look a little bit different. It's starting to have a little bit of character to itself, kind of get a little bit more of that red barn feel, which wasn't necessarily the original goal, but it works. Also, wasn't too thrilled with the way the paths work, and every now and then I figured, you know what, I'm kind of fed up with just doing scenery, so let's do some path work. We're gonna zoom the camera all over the place, and then we spend a lot of time trying to get this path to work, and it just is the paths in this game, man. They don't function as easily as you would want. They don't look bad, but they aren't easy to use either. So I think it's we get something that works, but I think I even do this a couple more times. So at this point, we have an exit. I was certain that I wanted the exit to look like this. We continue to try and push the metal roofing here, but it just doesn't look right. So we go ahead and we still get the beams in that we have here, because they would work best for this type of thing. But we end up doing some custom roofs very similar to how we did in the side, and it's also similar to the way we did the Mattford Park carousel, which that is a blueprint live on the Steam Workshop. So make sure you check that out. This blueprint will go up there eventually, but there's a few things that I'm not super thrilled with yet, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to fix them. So it'll be there. It's just going to take time. I appreciate your patience with it, but if you guys have any suggestions on what to do to make this look a little bit better, please do not hesitate to put those in the comments, because I'm very much looking for different ways, because my building style is interesting to say the least for this. So now at this point, again, we are looking at trying to get some different details in there and something that would look a little bit better. And I thought some pipes might be interesting, but I didn't really truly care about the way they looked. And it was more just about getting this roof done. So we go ahead and start focusing on that. We get a little bit of variation by stacking some wooden beams on top of each other, then duplicating them and putting it down. And all of a sudden, we got this pretty much set up here. It still looks very, very brown. There is a ton of brown all over this attraction, and I am aware of this at this point, and as I'm building, I'm just like, we gotta find a way to make it look a little bit different, because there's just too much in the area. So we just keep chugging along. Sometimes that's just what you have to do when you're building. If you're really struggling, you just got to keep going with what you have, and sometimes you have to take a break to work on some paths, and we do that a lot. We just did it again. Now we have 2 exits for everyone, which I thought might be a good idea, because it kept breaking down and everyone kept getting cycled through the exit, which was a ton of people. So it also allowed me the opportunity to use more of the crazy brick wall, or rough brick. I think it's rough brick in game, and that kind of does a good job of breaking up like that darker brown by adding a lighter brown, oddly enough. And I think it did enough to break it up to where I was like, you know what, okay, I really think this is something I want to continue with, and let's just see where it goes. So we push on, and we're soon going to work on some of the fencing, because I really feel like I'm getting close to where I can duplicate what we have and flip it to the other side. So, ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm already getting tired. We're only 20 minutes in. We got another 40 to go. And this portion is certainly very long. So, it's I promise you, it's really good once we start to once we can duplicate this and start moving into some of the other pieces of the build. It really starts to come together very quickly. And even this part, like we're starting to get in some fence posts for just the fence around the barrier around the path. And I was really trying to figure out, all right, how am I gonna make a fence for this pathway that's gonna look good and it's gonna fit in. And I was really thinking we might want to do a layered fence. We had already tried it a little bit earlier. I was thinking that's probably going to be the best case for this type of build. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe we should do something with a wood top, but have wires underneath. That would be a nice little break from all the wood. That's not the case. This, adding the red from above with a wooden top to it, that's my solution, and I think it turns out great. I think it just kind of fits. It kind of breaks up the build a lot, and adds enough color that there's nothing else to really worry about. Like it's just it makes it much easier on your eyes when you're looking at it. You don't have a ton of just brown there. You got a little bit of red that just makes it a little bit better. So it was a very annoying because it didn't want to copyright. It would always be slightly off the angle from what I needed, so I would constantly had to keep moving stuff a little bit, but it all works in the end. We get it flipped around. We add it all over the place. That's my favorite fence now, at least for this build. And I can't. Honestly, the chimneys as pillars. I know a lot of people use that, but I mean, they look so good. I can see exactly why people would use that. So, yeah. I did have a little moment there where we backed out, and I was like, is this really going to fit in with this? And with this park and the style? And, I kind of believe that the idea behind this would be this park is something where, you know what, we're trying to get an attraction that's going to draw people in. We're going to spend a little bit more money on it. But you know what, I don't really want to spend a lot of money on the roller coaster. Because we think that roller coaster is going to do well enough. So let's put it into our flat ride and try and draw people to the flat ride, because the coaster is already going to have something. And then this is born, the Crankshaft, and there we go. All of a sudden, we have a second piece to it, which is amazing. We had to delete a lot, which means we have to go and put that back in. But at least it gives us the idea of what we're looking at and how this is gonna shape up, and what all we need to really focus in on. And I didn't put the sides on because I was trying to find a way that I could make this a little bit easier for myself. So just by duplicating a piece and adding the fence on top, because I didn't want to have to mess with that. Uh, Once we get it in, we can just duplicate everything over, and then control D all the way across. Get some fencing in there because I don't know. I just felt like adding fencing, and I think it looks pretty good too. So we get that in. You know what? You think, oh, we might actually finish this sometime soon, and we're not even halfway through the time lapse yet, and that is because I had to make it more complex with a lot of the stuff that I was working on, and the theming that I wanted. For whatever reason, this building was not enough. I did not like the way the windmill looked by just attaching it to the building. So we try and find another way, and I think at this point it was really late in one of the nights that I was working on this, and I was just really tired, and I was like, let's just go ahead and put some bushes. They don't make a whole lot of sense, but they make it into the final build. I don't know how, but I kept them because it adds more depth to it, and yeah. This was the part that I just put in with the curve there. By far my least favorite part of this build. It was so annoying. I dreaded doing it. I think there was a night where I was like, all right, it's time to work on Crankshaft and try and get some of it done so I can get a video out. And then I sat down, I looked at it, I was like, nope, not tonight. Turned off the computer and walked away. So that was more or less just me trying to take some time for myself, and you know, with having a new little one to take care of, I just felt like it just wasn't the time to work on it. I'm back to work at my full-time job, so the videos that we're putting on right now are they're gonna be slow. We're not gonna have a lot coming out, so I apologize for that, but especially when there's something that I'm just not motivated to work on, I don't want to push myself to do it, because it's just not enjoyable for me. It's going to make me want to not play the game even more. So sometimes it's just better to step away. That's what I did in this particular instance, but I eventually found the motivation to go ahead and get back in it to finish it, and honestly it didn't even take that long. It was just dreadful. I couldn't figure out how to do it, so it was more of the creativeness that I needed to address. But we get it done. It takes a little bit of time. We certainly go to perfect it, and it's certainly different than the rest of I try and keep it as close to the rest of the fencing here, but it just doesn't work because it's on a curve, so it's different enough. But you know, we get it done, and yeah, like I said, I spent a lot of time trying to perfect this, and it might not have been worth it, but it gets done. So if you're still here with me, thank you. Yeah, we are just now coming up to about halfway through the time lapse, and if you remember when I said it gets better, I do think it does get better, and it's shortly after we get past this, because we build a true windmill, and I am super pleased with the way the windmill turned out. And Thankfully, it doesn't have any fencing like this, so we don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. But it just like, oh man, the reference image that I found was beautiful, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna replicate this. And I think I did a pretty decent job. And before we do that, though, we have to do the sign. And I tried a bunch of different ways, and this turns out to be the best, the one that I like the most. And it's just literally taking some of the wooden beams, turning them on their side, and then rotating them every so often, just to kind of make the letters and the shapes that we need. And it's a fairly simple design. I'm not a huge fan of making letters. I don't necessarily like to do this, but I knew this was going to be an easy thing for us to do. So we go ahead and we just get it done. We try and work on the proportions. The R ends up being the most annoying because of the way we had to orient it, but it ends up working out in the end here. And all the other letters all seem to make sense, and they all come together fairly quickly, and it certainly does the job. It is a large sign though, and aside from the lettering, which, like I said, it's gonna come together fairly quickly here, I wanted to have something that resembled an actual crankshaft. So if you don't know what a crankshaft is, it's a part of a motor where and I don't even know how to necessarily describe it, but as pistons fire, those pistons are connected to a rod that is pushing around a circular motion that continuously propels the vehicle forward, or whatever it is forward. So it is certainly an interesting concept, and it's in all vehicles now, and I figured, crankshaft might be something in a windmill, so that's what we do. And then the other thing is, how do I represent that? For a while, I thought that we might be able to make crankshaft in the image of a actual crankshaft device, and that was not the case. That did not look very good at all. So at this point, we're trying to figure out how we're going to get some moving pieces into this. And, I just kind of come up with, let's just throw a whole bunch of stuff together. A crankshaft is going to have a bunch of different, it's all going to be aligned along a center circular line. But we can't really do that in Planet Coaster, so we just kind of go ahead and throw some gears together in a way that kind of resembles the look of one. Again, I know this is not how a crankshaft would work. I understand that. You don't need to tell me that. You can if you want, but you don't need to. So we just kind of go and throw this in here, and we split crankshaft up. We got the different colors. We add white, which breaks up a lot for our wooden building, and we throw it all on top of each other and use some iron beams to hold it together. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of large. I don't know if I want it to be like this. And then I was like, you know what? let's just throw it up and see how it looks. And because of the way the building is built, it fits nearly perfect on it, which is fantastic. Once we get everything connected in, it seems like it's supposed to be there, and that made me really happy that I didn't have to try and come up with something different. So now you can see that we're going ahead and just kind of getting this in here. Yes, there are some wheels that poke through, so we go ahead and destroy our wall that we made, which was nice because if that would have been an in-game wall, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So that was a really nice, unexpected surprise, or happy accident, whatever you want to call it. And then we just had to find a way to say, you know what, alright, so we have this one belt that's powering everything, if you will. Let's see how we can make this look, and we just throw some extra supports on here, and we add in, I think, a little bit of a art shape control box on there, and that all seemed to work out just fine. So yeah, it just some art shapes thrown in there. We don't need a lot of detail. You're never going to look up there anyway, so we just kind of throw those in there. And then it's like, well, how are people going to get up there? So we add in a ladder and a trap door from the pirates scenery. I wasn't too thrilled about doing that, but honestly it was just closed and you were never going to look up there, so I wasn't too concerned about it. And then it's just about getting some clutter in there, throwing in some wheels. I think we might get a gear or two in there, but we're just trying to get some stuff that just kind of fills that area. And I think we do a good job of all that, and eventually we duplicate that and just kind of flip it around to the other side there, and it's all the same. It's all just looking very, very like it's supposed to be there. And then last part, and I say the last part, it's not, is covering up the control booth. And how do we make the control booth fit in? Well, it's with windows. Windows are going to be perfect for this scenario, so we go ahead and put a whole bunch of them in there, and get a little top on there. I think even with windows as well, maybe. I think there's a few different things that I try here, but oh yes, just duplicating them on top. That sounds right, or maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I was really, yeah, it is duplicating them. It's gotta be. It's honestly, it's been a while since I've worked on this because the windmill took me quite a bit of time to get done. And it's not a lot of in-game time, which is kind of nice. So, we finally have completed the main structure, which is incredible, because I was very sick of working on it, and I think it turns out great, but it just took way too long. It took us 40 minutes of very sped up footage to get through, and I don't even think I had everything in there. So not to mention the part that I had that was before we came up with this design. But anyway, now onto the fun build, the windmill. This is all about the way that we duplicate quarters in order to make a round piece, and it's just using different tricks and ways that we can trick the game into using grids and then duplicating them around to make them seamless and fit perfect, so we don't have to do it all manually. So We're right now building the platform. We already have the base. The rough brick curved walls stay. That was intentional all the way from the beginning. But we needed to get something that was going to have like a little walkway on the outside, so here we are. We also wanted something that was going to have a middle that the windmill can go. And unfortunately, I failed to record part of it, so we certainly duplicated a little bit, and here we are trying to fix all this now. And yeah, I can't believe I forgot to record. Fortunately, I caught it, so we didn't lose a whole lot of footage. Just me trying to get these beams set up. And really, this also uses the same idea of what I did for the Mattford Park carousel, where you take your beam. We already had a piece on the grid, or a scenery piece that is on the grid down there, which is the half wall, or the curved quarter wall, whatever it is, the curve wall. And we use that, and then we just kind of randomly angled those white wooden beams up. Use the piece on the grid to duplicate that to be on the exact opposite side, and then selected those pieces and rotated them on an angle so that we would have the exact same angle, and then we just need to fill in between them, which is what we did with these wooden beams. And you know, I rotated them slightly just so we'd get a little bit different variation in between here, and it just looks so good once it's done, and you'll see that. And you know, for my reference picture, I think for what I was gonna find in be able to do in the game, I think I did a pretty good job. I'd show the reference picture, but it's something I just randomly found on the internet, and I don't want to show someone else's work or someone else's picture. So you're just gonna have to imagine, if you search for a windmill on Google, you'll eventually find it. It's up there. Yeah, so really at this point we are now trying to figure out, alright, well, how am I going to do the top? And then I realized, you know what, I don't think that's going to matter. I don't think we're going to be doing that on like a circle. I think that's going to be more of like a square. So let's just go ahead and get everything copied in here, and let's start duplicating stuff. We get it in. It ends up being that it's thirds. So there's, for every quarter of the windmill, there are 3 like side walls. I think that's what it was. That sounds right. Maybe it's 2. No, it is 3. So we go ahead and we get those down. We get 2 of them down, and then it's just about finding the right windows that are gonna look the best for this type of build. And we get some random stucco windows just because they look kind of nice and they would kind of fit in for this type of windmill. And yeah, and I really, for whatever reason, I really wanted to focus on that top portion. We wanted to put a little railing on the outside, which is fine. I don't think we keep the railing though. I think we eventually completely remove that because we got a different piece at the top. And you can see that kind of looked like a lighthouse now that I see it here. And we do also, I don't remember what color I make it for whatever reason, but now you can see, okay, yeah, now it definitely looks like a lighthouse. But once we get the windmill in there, it comes to life. It is. I really enjoy it, and I hope you guys do too. If you do, please hit that like button, because that'll definitely give me some motivation to continue making builds like this, and taking my time to make sure that we get it right before I put it up here. And you know, the top piece, that was a part that I was a little concerned about. I didn't know how to make it, and what other way to do it than windows. Windows tend to be the most functional piece right now in the game for me, so we kind of keep the same strategy for building our roof. So we just kind of get those in there, and it looks good. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's not going to be something that we're going to look at a lot, so I don't think it's all that important, but I certainly wanted it to look decent, especially for the way the rest of the windmill has come together, and we just need to get it to look good. So we're starting to get our windmill come together, and now it's like, all right, well, I want to try and get the queue in there. Probably should have planned this prior. Yeah, that was a good idea, man. So now we start destroying our the base of the windmill. We end up not really doing all that much to it, but we do add a small building on the side, and that would primarily be where whatever they're working on, whatever the windmill is helping produce or mill, that's where all that product's gonna go. And I like the way it looks on the outside, but the inside's very, very, I don't know. It just seems very repetitive, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And that's one of the places where I really want to try and dive into. Maybe the next episode, maybe in a future like cleanup episode, but I want to get that fixed before this releases. So it's not going to be, and when I say before it releases, I mean before I put this on the Steam Workshop. So that could be a little bit of time. I will probably do that off camera, just because we've already spent a lot of time on this episode already, and I don't really want to just, in the next episode, definitely, I don't want to come back and just be like, alright, we're working on the windmill again. We've already spent an hour, but let's spend another hour. No, we're not going to do that. So, anyway, building our little building to the side. We just kind of get everything set up here, and I was trying to figure out how can I make some actual see-through windows rather than just having the opaque ones. So we try a bunch of different things here. We eventually settle with having our brick as the base, and then bringing in wood as the secondary material on the inside, and that's why I really don't like the inside, because it's just all wood. There's not a lot of decoration on the windows or on the walls, so it doesn't really break it up on the inside. And part of what my theory behind not doing more is you're not going to be on the inside of it very often. You might go in and take a look and be like, oh yeah, there's something, but that's really about it. So yeah, maybe it's something we need to focus on, maybe not, but I do want to try and change it a little bit, because it's just a little bit too much for me, and you'll see that when we get there a little bit later. But what other way than just working on some paths to kind of break things up a little bit. And like I said, we keep those hedges in there. I don't know why. It just kind of works, so we keep it. And we are finally trying to get the inside of the windmill all set up here, and trying to figure this out. Yeah, just faking the top there and getting something in there that's just gonna be believable enough. Not super concerned about it, and putting that at the gear at the top there just seems to work. And then it's just all about, all right, let's actually put some gears that are actually going to function in here. So we certainly get them to work here, and it looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty pleased with the inside of the windmill here. I think the rough brick interior looks pretty nice compared to all the wood that you're about to see go in. And yeah, I think I'm happy with it. I don't think there's anything else that I need to do in this area. And you can already see we opened up the attraction and people flock to it now. So having all of that is a good thing all the way through, and it finally starts making some money. So as long as we keep refurbishing it, it will be doing just fine all the way through. And it's probably going to be the thing that keeps us making money for the entire length of this series, at least until we start getting some bigger attractions in. Yeah, I completely forgot that we didn't do the top here. So we go back and do the top of the Insanity here, Crankshaft. Nothing too fancy here, we just kind of duplicate the roof, and yeah, that's all looking good. And yeah, I think we're about to get ready to put in some of the tables, and unfortunately the tables, I did use the haunted tables from the haunted pack DLC, because there's really no tables in the game, so we just had to use them because they look the best for this type of thing. So we get those in there. And I think that might be the only thing that's in here that is from a DLC. So if you're going to download this in the future, just be aware of that. You're going to need the haunted DLC, or the spooky DLC, I guess. The crates, I'm pretty sure, are part of it. I don't think they're part of the movies. Yeah, we just kind of keep adding in clutter. We want to make sure we get a door up here. Nothing too crazy over there. We go ahead and reshade some of the top portions. And yeah, now you can really see the windmill. It just looks great. And then now it's time to kind of get some more tables in here and add in some clutter, which ends up being a ton of barrels, crates, just anything. That middle section, the idea is that is not something that the people are going to queue in. You do have the thing on the side, which would be for like if there's no line, which obviously is this Planet Coaster, so we only have one option, so they're going to go the long way. And then for whatever reason, I wanted to come back and go and work on some of the pieces in the bottom of the windmill. So we are going to make what is intended to be like the mill part, where it's just gonna kind of spin the stuff around and grind it up. So that's the idea behind these things. We do 2 of them, and I actually think they look pretty good, and they fully function in terms of like the things spinning in them. We do allow them to spin, so that's pretty nice. And there's a lot of things in this part of the time lapse where I spin the camera around, so I do apologize that if you don't like that or it makes you sick. I do it a lot. I wouldn't recommend watching if you do get sick from that, because I was really struggling with some of the hitboxes in this area, so I apologize for that. It shouldn't be too long. We're getting close to the end of the time lapse, but I just want you to be aware, because we're just going to continuously do this for a long time, so sorry. But anyway, back to the build. We get this, we get everything kind of set up here, and then it's just about trying to make everything anchored down. Once we get everything anchored, we use some of the steam pieces from the western scenery, which kind of look like footers to me for the iron beams, so that's what we go with, and add a couple beams onto the outside just to kind of add a little bit more. And it all seems to work out here. And I was really struggling with what to do for a floor. So we end up just using concrete. The concrete coaster footers. We also get some lamps in here because you need to be able to see. So we go ahead and get those in. We do build our own windows as well. I promise you we do get to the floors, but apparently we're gonna do the windows first, and then we may even do the roof next. So yeah, windows. You can see we also didn't get all of that footage, so good job on me. But it's really not all that much. We just kind of line everything with different wooden beams and add in a piece of glass, and it all looks fine. Nothing too crazy. One thing I hate is that we can't get rid of the green express queue or priority pass entrance things. That's very annoying, so that sticks through. But I just accepted that you just can't get rid of it, so great. Tidying up some of the door areas and adding a bunch of barrels to kind of fill out that area over there, and it all seems to work pretty well. And now it's just tidying up a little bit. We are going to have a little bit of an overhang on that side. That is intentional. And then building in the cross beams here, because I felt like that would look pretty nice, and I think it does. I think when you're inside there, it kind of makes it a little bit more believable for what's going on. So it certainly does take a long time for me to get all these beams in. I put way too many of them in, but I think it looked good in the end, so we keep it going. And I promise you our time lapse is coming to an end. I promise. We're getting there. And yeah, I forgot that I even did that type of I did a lower hanging roof there. We get that in. We do have that little weird corner piece, but there's not much that we can do about it, so we don't worry about it. And boy, look at how full that queue is. Oh, and look, they're all leaving now. How tragic. Oh, and there's exactly what I was talking about with how it forces everyone through the exit. And then with having 2 exits there, it kind of really eliminated that. So That's good for us to actually come up with that. And uh, yeah, and every time I go back and look at this, I think there's a new, or something that I forgot that I did. And that's because this build was so long. Like, I completely forgot that I added these little, like, beams in here just to kind of give a little bit more realism, and they look good. I can't really complain about them because they do the job and they work. So it's certainly interesting. There's a lot of variation with this building now, since it's got 2 different style roofs, 3 technically if you count that little wooden corner, and then you got a whole windmill attached to it, which is pretty awesome. So we are about to, I think, finish up the building, and the last little piece. Oh, we add more hedges. Jeez, I just keep surprising myself with these hedges. And I think we finally finished the interior. Maybe not. This is certainly the last time we do the queue, and that's because just trying to figure out something that's going to work, because I really hate the express and how that was working. So we got those in. I think we are pretty satisfied with all of that now, and now we are onto the floor. So the concrete pieces, they seem to be to make the most sense in this scenario. So we go ahead and throw them down everywhere. And I do realize that you wouldn't necessarily, it would be different inside the building, and I didn't know how to do that. So that's another piece that I want to try and sort out. I think it kind of makes sense for the windmill, because you would have a stronger structure underneath and it wouldn't be anything fancy. So I think having that concrete flooring, or not flooring, but just the concrete pad underneath, it makes sense. So yeah, other than that, it's just kind of following along with the queue, making sure we get everything covered for when we go ahead and add in our fencing, which fortunately we did not use the same fencing that we did on the attraction itself, and that is really quite nice. And you can see I'm finishing up. I do use it on this side of the building, but that's just because I knew it would be simple, because I can just hide everything else with the concrete pillars. So yeah. Oh, and look, we do the paths again. That's exciting. You can also see I try and use a different thing here. I did not like that, so we just kind of extend those out and continue about our business. And yeah, everything is finally starting to fit in, and I think it's really starting to look good. So don't know what I was doing there, that I just kind of left that in there, but that's fine. We go ahead and, those things are still really bothering me, those priority pass lines. I don't think I have a solution to that. That's probably why we just sat at the screen there for a little bit, because I was trying to figure out what am I going to do with them. And I eventually just said, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen. So we just move on about our business. We go ahead and add some extra pillars that I thought would look a little bit nicer than not having anything. And we, I think, oh, we work on adding a sign to the entrance here, and obviously this one can't be as large. So we go ahead and remove the actual crankshaft piece and just throw in some extra little gears and gizmos just to have it in there, and it all tends to work out. It's nothing too fancy. It's big enough to make sense, but it's not too large to really overwhelm the area and like dominate the area. So it certainly is a nice piece to have in the forefront of a photo with the windmill in the back. But it's not my favorite sign, but it still does the job. So we go ahead and for the last pieces here, I go with the fence that I was considering earlier, but we just used cables because those tend to be a little bit easier to maneuver, and these they worked better paired with the concrete on the bottom. Everything just seemed to kind of fit, and the last part is just trying to figure out how we're going to make this work around the concrete here, and what other way than to add our nice little hedges. So we go ahead, we get those in there, and everything seems to work out. And believe it or not, if you've made it this far, I greatly appreciate you for sticking this long time lapse out. And I promise you this will come to the Steam Workshop at some point in the relatively near future. And I owe it all to you that have made it through this extremely long time lapse. But I think we are getting near the end, so I am going to let this play out for the last bit, because I really think we just we add some trees and some rocks and nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy for what we need to do. It's just kind of filling in some of the gaps and kind of giving some color to the area, which it certainly needs because there's a lot of brown, and I really like the way the rocks look here. So yeah, it's quickly coming to an end. I think it's quickly coming to an end. I sure hope so. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to eventually see the queue that I have in here, but it just keeps going. Man, this time lapse was huge. I definitely don't want to do a time lapse this long, but anyway, there is my queue, I believe. Maybe not. Nope, that was not it. That was not the right one. So, oh, lighting. I completely forgot about lightning. Lighting. Yeah, we definitely need to do that because the park can run at night. So, one thing I really don't like about this is I had to use some of these area lightings, which kind of they make it too bright. And if I put it in a spot that it actually looked good, then it's like literally right in front of the sign. So that's not too bad for the one out in front here. But yeah, I'd rather just try and work with some of the other lighting, and this all the windmill turns out great. But you know, it took a lot. We do actually go ahead and set up everything to triggers. I was going to worry about trying to get things to just keep going and going and going, but unfortunately all the gears and everything are set on a predetermined cycle, and I can't just turn it on and turn it off. So it's they run. I set it so that they run on every single cycle once, and it's fine. I'm not super concerned. I do believe after I'm finished recording the management feature of this, that I turn the windmill to just constantly run, because it just doesn't make sense to just randomly turn on and off there. So it's not that big of a deal for the sign, because you're not really ever going to notice that, but the windmill should always be running, so I eventually do fix that. But believe it or not, you've made it to the end. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the time lapse, and I hope you will join us in the management portion. I'll see you there. Alright, so welcome back from that lengthy time lapse. And you can see we have completely updated our Insanity skin. It is now called the Crankshaft, and we got this whole windmill thing over here, which I think is going to be just really cool. It's a whole custom windmill minus the blades and everything, and it does move eventually. You can see that, or you probably did see in the time lapse that I hooked up a whole bunch of trigger sequences. What's really weird though, really quite annoying, is that in our trigger sequence, these, you can't set them to go for an extended period of time. They just play on trigger. You can change them to color, or change the color on trigger, but you can't do anything else. So we are out of luck with that. So they just run it every cycle. I just have them run once. I'm not going to mess around with trying to figure out how to get them to run multiple times. But yeah, let's take a quick walk through the queue here. We got our big sign, which needed to be a little bit different than the sign up front. And that is because I didn't want it to be ginormous like this one. So yes, it's still big, but not as big. And I was really struggling with this, so I had to come up with some interesting ways to do the lettering, and I think it turned out pretty good. So when you come in here, you have the option. I wish you could get rid of these green things, but you can't. So our priority path is going to go to the left and bypass the building. Otherwise, you can see right into the building. We've got a whole bunch of people walking through here already. You just kind of follow this path all the way around the outside, and now we are going into the windmill, where we have a whole bunch of random stuff that I would imagine would be in a windmill, and that leads us into the where I guess I would keep all the products that this made. I just kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff in here. It is a lot of wood, but there's just not a lot of things left. So this would be like a if the line wasn't very long, it would just kind of cut through here. I should probably add some ropes or something, but I did not. And it just kind of loops around here all the way through, and then when you come out on the other side, you're greeted by the priority pass people up into the entrance, and you can see we have a whole bunch of stuff going on here, all the way around. So we kind of back out a little bit. Ooh, swing the camera around. Sorry about that. It just kind of all fits, and I was really struggling to figure out how I was going to make this. We figured out, we'll just go ahead and put these things in here, and now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably add some tracks that this would rise up on and rise back down, so I should have to do that for that add realism. We do leave the ladder visible, and you can certainly get up there. The railing and everything is still in here, and not obstructed by much. It is a bunch of windows that I used so that's one thing. But honestly, this doesn't even matter in here, so let's just get out of here. We don't have to look at that. Yeah, and then when you come out the exit, you have two options. Ooh, man, I'm struggling with the camera. You can go down the ramp, kind of loop around down another ramp, or you can take the short way down the stairs and around the other way. So it's ADA accessible, which is nice. We are going to have to figure out what to do with our curb here and how we're going to address that. But honestly, pretty pleased with the way this turned out. This is also going to get some trees and whatnot, but we are going to get this up on the Steam Workshop at some point. Hopefully, it shouldn't take too long because I'm going to do this before I do anything else in this park. But yeah, it is I'm very pleased with the way this has turned out, and yeah, the guests seem to really like it as well. This guy seems mighty suspicious. Saying one was sort of fun to me. Wow. Old ride's gonna be awesome, like the American Arrow one. Interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. So, overall, we didn't really get much else done. I wanted to accomplish much more. But we just ran out of time. I put a lot of effort into this, and I think it shows because it just looks awesome. Oh, I forgot, you can do some nighttime. It definitely has a little bit of a glow. There's not many lights out here because there's going to be lights for the walkway, so I'm just kind of planning that out as well. But honestly, the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is I had to use the area lighting here for the main sign, and it kind of creates this weird glow, which I'm not thrilled about. But the windmill looks great. Wow, look at that shot. We get a windmill, we get the city, we get an unlit, undecorated coaster in the background. And yeah, this was probably one of the hardest ride skins I've ever had to create, and I think it just turned out great. So, alright, so let's go ahead and jump into our management features now that we got that all taken care of. And we're looking pretty good. We're at almost $70,000. Insanity being a really good value. It is great. This park is great. The park entry is free. I'm thirsty. We are going to take a look at that at some point, but not today. Most profitable ride is Insanity 1. The vending machine and the Cosmic Cow is not anything I'm concerned with. Our finances, to be expected, our ride and ticket sales are dominating everything. And if we did not have those, we would not make money. So that is good to know. And our shops and facilities, yes, we are losing money as expected. And our park management, we should be losing money there as well. Loans, we are not too concerned about. Research, ooh, completely forgot about research during this whole build. So we've got Good Family Feeder, which is the Wendigo. We probably won't have one of those in there. We got the Elixir Machine. Wow. And then Missy Good is Missy Good. The shop brand, so that is exciting. We do want to get a new roller coaster here. Reborn the Loop, I think that's the Deegan Apex Predator. I don't know what that is. Free spinning coaster. That seems pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and get a track ride as well. Let's get some fast water. And then magical moments. I know that's not going to be anything that I'm going to be worried about. So get those in here. We don't need any marketing. Our staff. So on the last episode, I had a comment which I need to pull up. I am not prepared. This was poor planning. We had Daniel Pospichal. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. And he wants to be Captain Lockjaw. So we are going to get our first entertainer in here. Captain Lockjaw walking around. And we are going to name him Daniel Mitchell. Oh, I had caps lock on. Good job. Good job, Matt. Let's make sure I spelled your name right. So Daniel, welcome to the team. We are going to pay you some crazy money because we don't want you to quit on this. So that would be tragic. So we got in here, and if anyone else wants to be a part of the park and be in here, just go ahead and leave me a comment with your name and who you want to be, and if it's like something that I can modify the colors, you can leave me one color, and I will mix that into the color scheme as well. So yeah. Make sure to do that. I want to try and get some more people. I would love to have only friends and subscribers in here. I think that'd be really, really cool to just have a bunch of people like that working for the park. So, anyway, we are looking pretty good. Everyone's got low and normal workloads for everything, which is good. We don't have a lot of staff, so it's nothing too crazy. And that's including our what are these guys? Security. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these guys up here trained up a little bit. And that is just because I know it's, with the pickpockets, it can just be annoying. So we'll just keep going and training those up. I'm not going to go anymore with Tyrone Morrissey, just because he's who did I just do this? What the 60? So he was probably at 70. He's about to be real happy. We'll eventually get everyone up to 5 stars in terms of security, but not right now. It doesn't make sense. We'd lose a lot of money on that. Not interested in doing that. In terms of guests, adult groups, we got 27% are adult groups. And they are 84% are happy. That's good. Our energy is 74%. Teen groups, they are hungry and thirsty. I guess they don't like to go to vending machines. And the family groups, 71% need to go to the bathroom. 95%. Oh, these are just average guest needs. I guess this isn't necessarily like specific to this. Maybe it is. I don't know. It doesn't matter though. It's all fine. That litter is disgusting, and I'm thirsty being the 2 biggest complaints that we have. Oh no, Wild Blue is broken down, and I'm hungry. That's to be expected. Hopefully we'll address some of that in our next episode. And then our attractions. Wild Blue lost a lot of money for the last month because it just broke down. And I wish I could see what this is. So we need... So $679. Let's take a look here. Where is my calculator? Alright, so 679 divided by 35 is 19.4, which is good. So the maximum being $15 that we can charge, and with the updates to the rules, the max we can charge is $11.25, and I already have that set in there, so that's good. The whirly rig, let's just double check and make sure this is in there as well. 348 divided by 35 is 994, so times 0.75, 746. So we'll do 740 $7.45 for the whirly rig, so that's going to start losing money because we're not at that $10 mark. The Insanity. Did I do this correct? Did I do this for the whirly rig right? 48 times. Yes, I did do it correct. Okay. The Insanity, which we have to rename because I forgot to do that. So, Crankshaft. There we go. So that's 986. That is definitely going to be what we need. So highest we can charge for that's 1125 since it's classic. The scissor at 518. Ooh. What did I say? 518 divided by 35. And we will multiply it by 0.75. So we can charge 11.1. So that actually went up while I was building because I got some scenery get real close to the queue line, so that's good. And that's been pretty profitable so far, so that's exciting stuff. The American Arrow, 658 divided by 35, that's 18.8, and multiply that by 0.75. We are at 14.1, so we are charging the correct amount for that. And then the carousel at 431 divided by 35, 1231, so that is going to be 10 times 0.75 is 750. So we are actually charging too much for that at the moment. And yeah, we are. This will probably not make money anymore. It's going to make it a lot more interesting. Crankshaft is definitely going to be our moneymaker here. Even at 1125, it should be fine. And then hopefully once I get the American Arrow decorated, that will start to make things a lot better for us. So you can see our line is actually coming out of the windmill. That's pretty interesting. Oh gosh, I love the way this looks. I think it turned out great. Anyway, before I get distracted, back to our park management. Our shops, we really don't have anything. I mean, they're making money. Gulpy soda. They're not turned on, so that's fine. Our facilities are losing money as you would expect. We have no small attractions, no restaurants, and that's nonsense. And then our security, we have one pickpocket victim in the park. Pocket victim, 7 or 21 people have been pickpocketed in the park. We've been open for 34 years. Okay. Boy, that escalated quickly. And then Crankshaft, we have a whole bunch of animations that cost us $40 to run. That's fine. The carousel has 6, and it doesn't cost us anything because they're just lights. So, we are looking very good. Oh, we have a bunch of speakers on the carousel, I guess. But that's fine as well. I'm not too concerned about that. So, I do think that's going to do it for this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. If you saw something I could have done better, or you want to be a part of the park, please make sure to leave that in the comment section. And if you want to find some more awesome Planet Coaster content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Videos are a little infrequent at the moment due to my work schedule, but I can promise you they will be coming. I am not going anywhere, so thank you for being patient with me. But again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.